Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We're going to see how this works.
All right.
You want me to sit by the computer and hit next slide for you?
I have a solution. See, the thing about being a professional, you don't always know the answer, but you know where to find it. And I don't mind seeking out advice from the right people. Solution. All right. How everybody doing? Can y'all hear me good? I usually real good at projecting my voice. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm very passionate about educating people on this because a lot of people aren't aware of how this is and how this works. We're going to be talking about wills. We're going to be talking about trust. How many people already have a will in place? How many people already have a trust in place? All right. So we're going to talk about it. Which one's better, a will or a trust? You must be an attorney. The answer is always depends. And usually, I have this plan, but, we already here. Anybody can, so I'm going to do a little trivia at first, right? Can anybody tell me who this is? Red Fox. All right. Anybody know this guy? There you go. How about this guy? Oh, yeah. Can't get enough of your love, babe. Yeah. How about her? All right. Y'all know her as Kennedy or as Onassis? Yeah, okay. Who is that? There you go. I don't even know. You know what I mean? I'm just joking. Who knows this guy? Okay, of course. How about this guy? All right, young Michael or old Michael? What y'all like better? I like them all. I like them all. All right. How about her? Nobody? Think about it. Say. You good? You want an extra point? Yeah. I got some cookies in the back. Babe. Jimi Hendrix. All right. Sonny Funk. Oh yeah. What you say? Y'all like that? It's a good look. What was that song that him and his ex-wife used to do? What was it they were known for? I Got You, Babe. Princess Di. Sammy Davis. The King of Soul. Jerry. Yeah. Y'all just needed a hint. When he passed away, he was the richest man in the world. Yeah. And your boy, right? What do all of them have in common? Do y'all know? Name recognition. They had some form of celebrity. They're all passed away. And they all died without a will or trust. All right? And we're going to go into some of the examples of what happened. Like, for example, it took Martin Luther King's trust. It took 45 years for them to settle everything. Because, you got speech rights and all that stuff. And it happens all the time. But just a little bit about me, right? Other than I have the same suit jacket on. My name is Randolph Love III. I'm a chartered financial consultant, chartered life underwriter, chartered property casualty underwriter. I'm a wealth strategist. I'm registered with the Florida Department of Financial Services. I actually do pre-licensing and continuing education for a lot of the major carriers, as well as government entities, as well as other entities throughout the state of Florida. I also provide training and consulting to those same agencies, okay? And I'm only 36, but, I don't waste no time, all right? I also assist individuals with tax minimization, all right? Because I know you definitely want to know who you're talking to, right? YouTube is a great learning source. I love YouTube, but you never really know, right? If what their credentials are, or what they do is for real, okay? Here's my team, and I just want to get this stuff out the way just so sometimes people listen a little better depending when they know where the source is coming from. One thing that I learned, all truths are parallel. When you drink from a river without knowing where the water is coming, right? Just like the same when it does with information. Here's the team of people that I work with. We have Now, this is the main guy, right? I think everybody should have a friend that graduated from Harvard, right? That's my Harvard graduate friend. We also have Sierra Lester. She's the attorney. Once again, unfortunately, she couldn't make it today. Once the news came out, other people's changed, right? I had some people that were flying down. Actually, my friend in the back, he flew down, but he's going to be flying right back out. I had other people that was flying down, but once they saw the weather, people who are not from Florida, those weather reports will scare you, right? And you can't really be mad at them because you know that there's a chance that it's going to be catastrophic. But most of the time, like you say, it's just some rain, right? But here's the team of people I work with. The reason why it's important, I think, to have a team, because if you only have a financial advisor, and this is where the lessons and learning start, y'all. If you have just one person handling your stuff, what happens when something happens to them? Right? You want to know that if, I'm down in Cabo and I get some alcohol poisoning or whatever happens, that you still have a team of people that you can reach out to, right? And that's the team I work with. But more specifically, like I said, my friend Andrew, he is the director of planning strategies. He's the guy that goes through and, basically organizes everything to get you a tax-free retirement. Graduated from Harvard in 1993. 22 years of experience in the financial services industry. I was just with Andrew in Huntington Beach, California last week. Everybody was dressed like me. Andrew was walking around in a golf shirt and some shorts and flip-flops. Everybody knew who didn't have nothing to prove there, right? 22 years of experience in the financial services industry, and he specializes in tax-efficient income planning and wealth transfer and estate planning, business succession, and he consults with risk and tax mitigation strategies with a focus on lifetime income. Here's Sierra. Everybody knows when you're dealing with a trust, you definitely want to have an attorney, right? It's a bunch of attorney jokes, right? But when you're dealing with a trust, you want somebody who knows what they're doing. She had a full scholarship and a graduate of the Ave Maria School of Law in Naples, Florida, focused on estate planning to help people avoid negative effects of probate. And Sierra believes in 3 pillars: planning, preparation, and prevention. One thing that you will notice when you look at my team and look at Sierra, which is the attorney on it, I keep women around me. Y'all are very good at multitasking. Y'all, when it comes to us trying to shoot for the moon, you have a way of saying, "Hey, let's think about this. Let's do the liabilities. Let's consider everything before we go going." And I love to keep women around me for one of those reasons, right? Sierra helps raise funds to cover medical bills for dogs and animal shelters. So, she likes dogs. So I got that out the way, right? So let's get ready to learn. So what happens, can anybody answer this question? What happens if you don't have any legacy in place? If you don't have an estate plan? Do y'all know what happens to? Yeah, the court. They determine what your estate is, and they're going to go off of what it is. They don't know your family at all. They don't know who you wanted to have the baseball cards. They don't know who you wanted to have the china. The judge is going to decide all this. And if you have a will in place, of course, it's going to give the judge a roadmap on what to do, but they don't have to follow that. And once again, one thing about a will is it guarantees probate. What is probate? To prove what you owe and who you owe. If you don't mind your family and whoever your beneficiary is having to go through court in order to get to your assets, cool. However, if you do mind, there's another way, okay? Let's go down. All right, we're going to talk about 7 everyday situations that can lead to emotional and tragic results and how to prepare for them. When I go over these scenarios, when you look on the back sheet of your green sheet, you're going to see a bunch of scenarios that we're going to talk about. These are common scenarios that happen to people every day, but when you don't have the right things in place, it can be tragic, right? We're going to talk about how to wipe the ultimate love note to your family. Or when you have the trust set up with the right people, not only will everything go smoothly, not only will all of your inventory and your assets be private, because you know when you go through probate, everything is made public, right? Go to CaseNet. If y'all really wanted to know if y'all have any friends that passed away relatively recently or even not so recently, you want to know what all they had? Go to CaseNet, because I can almost guarantee you they did not have trust. And if they did have a trust, it wasn't properly funded. We're going to talk about how most attorneys, they're going to charge you that, that amount to get your trust going, but then they're going to give you a separate package to do what they call funding your trust. And what does that mean? That means retitling everything. And that can take anywhere from 30 to 60 days, depending on what you're doing it with. If you're doing it under the right terms and the right laws, it can be done within 30 minutes. Or it can take up to 2 months. Or it can never get done at all. Because once again, most people usually don't fund their trust. They have this beautiful book. It's leather bound, has a tassel, has some heavy weighted pages, not funded. And if you never heard that before, keep listening. How to develop tax-free income. Is there anybody in here that's getting taxed on their Social Security? Did you know that Social Security is supposed to be tax-free? It's because of the other bad income that you have. And I call it bad income. It's just not situated correctly. We're going to talk about how we can eliminate that for you. At the very least, reduce it substantially. Okay? How to potentially lower or eliminate taxes on your Social Security, like I was saying. All right, so there is a green sheet in front of you. I do this on a regular basis, and at the very least, if you can just fill out the top, because when they come to me, they say, "Hold up. Not only are you not paying taxes, what's going on? Like, what's going on?" I need to show that, hey, I spend money to educate people. So if you can just, at the very least, fill out the top. There are other things down there, but y'all don't have to worry about that for now. But at the very least, just fill out the top, just so I can prove that I actually be doing stuff and not just saying that I teach people. I actually be teaching, all right? If you need to take a call, please step outside. We understand there are people who need you, right? That's why you're here. Restrooms, if you go out this door, there are restrooms to the left. And then if you go a little further, there are restrooms to the right. All right. And please write your questions on the handout, because I know we already got started late. I know that y'all time is important. If you have any questions, please just write it down, because if I start answering one question, it's like a cascading effect. All right. But I truly believe once we get into this, y'all are going to have some questions. So just write it down for me if you don't mind. So anybody ever heard about Jed, farmer named Jed? All right. So I'm going to exaggerate this story a little bit, right? But here's Jed. He's a farmer. He's 88 years old. His wife just passed away. And he doesn't have any other relatives, no brothers, no mother, no anything. All Jed has is this beautiful estate, right? You see the guest house right there? See the well manicured lawn? Look, they got a little maze right here, right? You got way too much money when you creating plants that make mazes, right? All right. Y'all want to meet Jed? I can introduce you. Okay, guys. He has no family, nobody. But he does have his daughter, Ellie Mae. Oh yeah. No family except Ellie Mae. And let me tell you what, Jed didn't get this lovely estate for nothing. Jed is somebody who he thinks about things, right? And when Jed thinks about his daughter, he says, all right, I have my beautiful daughter, Ellie Mae, right? But chances are I'm going to die before her. I'm 88. She's still brand new, relatively, right? Chances are I'm going to die before her, and I'm going to leave all this responsibility to her. Not to say that she can't handle it, because like I told you, I keep women around me for a reason, right? Y'all can handle this stuff, right? But not to say that she can't handle it, but he's thinking ahead, right? He say, I want to try to do something to make sure that Ellie Mae, my daughter, isn't overwhelmed with all this responsibility. So what did Jed do? He sent out a mailer to all of the eligible bachelors in the area, about 25. All right. He invited them to his lovely estate. He fed them. He gave them good drink. You know, those rich people, they drink $200 pours. You know what I mean? Not bottles, pours, right? He fed them. He gave them good food. And he said, all right, y'all, at the stroke of midnight, he said, y'all come to this backyard. I'm going to tell you why I really invited you here. All right? He said, I invited you here because I have a beautiful daughter, Ellie Mae. And I sent this mailer out to all of the eligible bachelors, not just eligible, people who I think would be a good fit for my daughter. And I have a competition to see who could qualify. I want you to jump into this pool and make it to the other side. I want you to have the courage to jump into this pool. And I want you to have the skill to make it the other side. And not to mention, we got alligators in this pool, right? We got snakes in this pool. We got piranha in this pool. If you got the courage and you have the skill, I want you to jump into this pool. And before he could finish, he said he can finish anything out of his mouth because before this happened, he said, I got 1 of 3 gifts for you. He said, 1 is $1 million. 2, I'm going to give you 10,000 acres of my finest property. Or 3, you get my daughter's hand in marriage, right? And if you get my daughter's hand in marriage, you get everything, right? And as he said that, he hears a splash. And in 4.6 seconds, a world record, Alex comes out from the other side of the pool, right? Alex can't breathe, right? And Jed says, Alex, congratulations. You won. Oh, you must want this $1 million. He said, no, sir. I don't want this $1 million. He said, okay, well, you must want 10,000 acres of my best land. He said, no, sir, I do not want 10,000 acres of your best. He said, well, congratulations, son. Welcome to the family. You get to marry my daughter. You get everything. He said, no, sir, I do not want to marry your daughter. He said, well, he's perplexed. He's like, well, what do you want? Alice says, I want to know the name of the man who pushed me in that pool. Did you know that one? You saw it coming? Right? You saw it coming too, right? And like I say, it's a good joke, right? And we all laugh. But what happens when somebody pushes you in the pool? Metaphorically speaking. What happens when you get a call in the middle of the night, 2 a.m, that your daughter was in an accident? What happens when you get that call that your brother-in-law is no longer here? Right? What happens when you get that call that your wife is in a coma? When they push you in the pool, you got to be ready. And a properly set up estate plan makes you ready. Right? And that's what we're going to talk about. So how are we different from other firms? All right. So, of course, I'm educating, but I also got to let you know what I do. Right? What makes us different? All right. We have legal, Sierra. We have tax, Andrew. And we have financial, me, right? This is all a la carte stuff, right? Some people just want the estate set up. Some people just want the tax mitigation. They're like, all right, I'm not going to voluntarily be giving away all of this money. And some people want me to set up the financial form. You don't have to get them all, but usually once somebody learns one thing, they want to try to consolidate it. It's all about bundling, right? But you can do a la carte. You get a complimentary consultation. You get internet-based options that put you in control of updates, changes, and saving you money. Did anybody raise their hand and say that they had an estate? All right. When you have an estate, who makes the changes? When you have an estate plan, who makes the changes? Anybody know? How do you do it? You call an attorney, right? Right? You call the attorney, right? And then the attorney comes. And of course, the attorney is busy, right? They probably had a couple seminars, right? And they say, well, you want to make this change and I want to help you out. The earliest meeting is in 2 weeks, all right? And then you sit down for the meeting in 2 weeks, and he said, all right, so we're going to change page 45. And when I changed page 45, I had to change page 46. And then 46 bled over into 47. He said, you know what? This is a little more complex than I thought. I'm going to send you the completed version in a week or so, all right? So in a week, they send you the completed version along with the invoice for another $1,200. You probably already paid anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 just to get it started. Now, every time that you want to make a change to your trust, you have to bring in that attorney. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But what if you could make these changes yourself and still be able to reach out to Sierra and get advice on the changes that you just made yourself for no extra price? That's possible, all right? Well, like LegalZoom, but LegalZoom charges you, right? So LegalZoom adjacent, right? All right. And we have a home estate plan, the last estate plan you will ever need, and partnering with Crawford Trust. Some of you, once you learn more about trust, you're probably going to put one of your children or children in charge of your trust. And that's okay if you choose to do that, right? But there's no trust police. Let's say you're a smart person, a smart man, a smart woman. So you have the trust set up to where it's going to do this, that. The money's going to be distributed over this amount of time, and it's going to stay in this account, and it's going to keep making this money. What happens when your child say, man, I got my own life. I got kids. I got soccer practice. I got basketball practice. I can't do all of this stuff. Let's just end the trust. Did you know that your beneficiaries are able to just say, let's just end it? But if you have a corporate trustee, that's not the case. If you have a corporate trustee, you ensure what you want to happen continues to happen throughout the life of the trust, right? All right, and here's the people at Crawford Trust Company. If y'all want to do y'all research on it, these are the people that I use. If you are looking to research corporate trustees, check out Crawford Trust Company. All right, so why a trust company? Once again, it's just because of what I said. It's you get to set the terms. Now, anybody in here own a business or has ever owned a business? There you go. Oh yeah, black-owned businesses, right? Yeah, absolutely. And woman-owned. There you go. All right. They have a website, a group on Facebook. Y'all should check it out. Right. All right. So, anybody know about Fortune 500 companies? 64% of Fortune 500 companies are incorporated through Delaware. Even though they don't have an office there, they're incorporated through Delaware. Anybody ever heard of Boeing? Y'all know where Boeing's home office is? Seattle. They're incorporated through Delaware. Anybody ever heard of Coca-Cola? Their home office is in Atlanta, incorporated through Delaware. All right. I got a trick question. Anybody know where Walmart's home office is? Arkansas. Guess where they're incorporated through? Nope, South Dakota. I told y'all it was a trick question, right? All right, and why? I don't know, but their attorneys chose to do that. That's called jurisdictional shopping. All right? Jurisdictional shopping means it doesn't matter what state you reside in. You're able to cite your business anywhere in the United States that you want to. Whatever state gives you the best benefits. Why am I talking about jurisdictional shopping when it comes to this business? Because, we're not talking about businesses right now. We're talking about trust. The reason why I bring this up is the same thing that works for these major companies, works for smaller companies, also works for individuals. You as an individual are able to choose wherever you want to cite as your trust, whatever gives you the best situation, all right? And it just so happens, Nevada trust laws, no exception creditors. You can keep your money out of the hands of creditors by pre-existing tort claims. In other states, these creditors can reach into without providing a fraudulent transfer. No, all states let creditors pierce trust to get at the money if they can prove fraudulent transfer. Nevada, you can't get to it. Not only can they not get to it, when you want to fund your trust, it can be funded within 30 minutes, and you're able to make changes yourself. If you cite as your trust in the state of Florida, it has to be on paper, and you have to go through an attorney each time to make a change. And you got to pay that bill, right? And once again, there's nothing wrong with going through an attorney, but if all you're doing is changing the address, you just sold a house, now you got a new one. You got to change your trust. You just had a new child. You just had a new grandchild. You got to change your trust, right? You always change your trust. Let me ask y'all, how much does it cost for a trust in the state of Florida? You will never know because it's always changing. How much does it cost with our program? One flat rate. I mean, that's just how it works. When you have technology, when you're using technology, the reason why technology is so useful and is growing up is because it makes things like this easier, and it makes it easy for people like yourselves to get a better deal. Same high quality, but a better deal. And once again, it's just saying again how Nevada has been ranked the top state for trust for a long time. Second to, and the second is, of course, is South Dakota, where Walmart is incorporated. All right. All right. And what I do, if anybody comes and wants more information from me, I provide this article, 8 Reasons Why Nevada is Leading in Trust. Okay. Trust Citus. Okay. They look happy, right? So how are we able to help? Chest move. All right, so estate plannings are strategies. Once again, I already asked this, but what did y'all say? What's better, a trust or a will? It depends, all right? It definitely depends, okay? Financial strategies, growth and protection. When you have a trust set up, when I got my designation as a chartered financial consultant, I was a lot younger than I am now, right? And I didn't understand. I thought, I'm going here to learn how to make money. Right? That's what I thought. I said, they're going to teach me how to make money. 90% of the entire curriculum was how to keep money. Because y'all know, I'm going to tell y'all this. I know all of y'all are doing well. You know how I know? Because broke people don't show up for estate planning and wills, right? It just doesn't happen, right? So what happens is, it just doesn't happen, right? I'm just being honest, right? So the way, when you setting up a trust, when you basically sealing in the net, you're protecting your money to where now if if you're in the accumulation phase, you have more money coming in, or if you're at retirement age, now you can protect your money from these taxes. People are going to be, y'all going to be voluntarily giving up taxes anywhere from 5, 10, 20, on up into hundreds of thousands of dollars that y'all are voluntarily giving away. I think it was the movie Butch and Sundance. I think that was the name of the movie, to where they're walking down and they got like a temporary job protecting bank money, right? And they saying, I think the robbers are going to be over there. All right. I think the hijackers are going to be over there. And the person that they were walking with said they were some idiots. And he said, why? He said, because they don't rob you on the way to the bank. They rob you on the way back. When you are in retirement, y'all are on the way back from the bank. And that's when you realize all that stuff that they told you that your taxes were going to be lower in retirement. That's not true. It's the same, if not higher, right? You might not be making as much income, but the percentage is the same, if not higher right now. Majority of the people that I hang out with are at least 20 years older than me. And they tell me what they were told was not true, right? Tax planning strategies. And that's what we do. We figure out how to stop this tax on your Social Security. All right. We figure out how to make it a tax-free retirement income. We figure out tax strategies and growth protection. They look happy as well. I think they got their money set up straight. Why we exist and why we're here. Percentage of Americans who have a will. How many people know currently what's the percentage of Americans who currently have a will? Give me a good guess. Anybody? 25? 30? Those are some good guesses. 40% of people have a will currently in the United States. How many people, what's the percentage of people who currently have trust? Do y'all know? It's a good guess. 10? That's a good guess. Real close. 60%? Oh man, you've been very optimistic about the American people. 17%. And of that 17%, how many people trusts are funded? And once again, what the funding is the inventory. Most people, they get that beautiful book, like I mentioned, but they never fund their trust. Because what happens is the attorneys, they give you a package and they say, all right, this is what you do to fund your trust. All right. And let's say you hire a paralegal and they type up all of the documents correctly, and then they send it out to all these different places to get everything retitled in your trust name. That's funding it, right? And then 30 days later, you get a letter back from approximately 30% of those people say, hey, appreciate the letter, but you can only do it on our paperwork. And then you have to fill out their paperwork, send it on back, all right? That's 60 days. A lot of people don't even do it. And if you talk to your attorneys, your estate attorneys, most of them are not going to do it for you because they don't want the liability. We do it for you. And it's funded within 30 minutes. Okay, so nearly half. So what are the findings? Of all respondents believe that is, and this came from an article, this is a source of what do Americans think about estate planning, all right? So all respondents believe that estate planning is only for the ultra rich and most people don't need it. Do anybody know what the minimum is for you to have to go through probate? Does anybody know the number? The minimum is $40,000. Now, I didn't look, but some of y'all drove here in $40,000. I didn't look, but am I not right? Some of y'all drove in here in vehicles worth $40,000. You already are at the criteria, right? 25% haven't spoken about it with their families because they don't like to think about their own death. What's another way to say that? Everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want to die. And they believe if you talk about it, you're going to die. I say, what, you don't want none of that milk and honey? Right? But if you do it right, you can get milk and honey here. All right? 49% say their assets aren't worth enough to consider an estate plan. And like I said, in most states, Florida included, 40,000, that's the threshold. Once you hit 40, you sending your family to probate. And if you don't mind sending your family to court, that's okay. But and when it goes through probate, like I said, everything is made public. All y'all have to do is go to CaseNet right now and search Florida probate, and you will see everybody's business. All right? If you have a trust set up, nobody sees your business. 61% say a will is enough to meet their estate-related needs. What does a will guarantee? What did I say?
Probate.
It guarantees probate. And another word for probate is court. If all you have is a will, you are guaranteeing probate. But once again, it's better than nothing because at least it gives the judge a guideline of what to do. But the judge has now become your grantor settler instead of you being your own grantor settler. All right? 35% have experienced or know someone who has experienced family conflict as a result of having an estate plan or of not having an estate plan or comprehensive will. I've been fortunate enough so far to where I haven't had a lot of people die that was very close to me yet, because it's going to happen, right? I've been fortunate enough, but I've been around it. And this is what breaks up families. These kids, your kids, they're not going to fight over the money, they're going to fight over the stuff. You didn't even know it was important. That mug that you use every morning to drink, they swear that you said they were supposed to get it. Son said, nah, Dad wanted me to have it. No, Dad wanted me to have it. Now they don't talk for 5 Christmases. If you hope it's just 5 Christmases. I know people who haven't talked to their sibling. They went their entire lives without having any turmoil. Once the monarch of the family passed away, it broke up the whole family. But what if you had a trust set up that had everything lined up and you had a video saying why you did what you did? Oh, hey, but they're going to be mad at you, not each other. I'd rather y'all be mad at me while I'm dead and still hang out. You see what I'm saying? All right. And 46% of Americans say that they are interested in learning more about estate planning. Y'all are part of the 46%. And like I said, broke people don't show up to this. Right? So y'all did good and y'all still doing better. All right. And hopefully y'all can share this knowledge because y'all already understand this. I'm educating and did y'all learn anything so far? All right, so I'm educating, but y'all know that, but I'm hoping that I get some business, maybe not, right? But everybody needs to learn this. Whatever you learn, whether you work with me or not, share this with your friends, share this with your family, share this with your neighbors, okay? So why might you and your family need an estate plan? Let's see. All right. So here are a few scenarios. If y'all look on the back of your sheet, some of you already proactively got to it, but let's check out this scenario. A couple is in a car accident, all right? Their adult children come to the hospital but can't get information. Who knows why they can't get information? Yep. The parents are over 18 and they never did that health. Yep, the healthcare. Just one paper. And you already have one set up. I can tell, yeah. And how many times have you seen people come in saying, hey, those are our parents. How do we know?
Yeah, I actually do run into that too much.
Oh, not yet?
No.
Mm-hmm. You ran into it?
Oh my God.
A lot. What did you do? What was your...
CNA and MMA. I was in the accident.
Ah. Uh-huh.
Wasn't allowed to tell anybody. Can't tell you nothing.
Wow.
And I was unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole place filled up with people. Couldn't tell them.
Couldn't tell them
They
nothing.
wanted me to sign something to be able to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm. If he would have had this healthcare trust, it would have been done, right?
Well, it was done.
It was done, but not in the way that you want. All right? Yeah, what you talking about? Hey, 5 Christmases. Hey, it's been 10 Christmases, 15 Christmases, right?
I was Santa Claus at Dunkin' Donuts, man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. And once again, we want to try to avoid these things, right? And you're able to avoid it if you proactively plan for it. And it's all done in a properly set up estate, okay? So would that be a concern for anybody in here? Anybody? Okay, got it. Scenario 2, death of the parent. So let's say breadwinner right here, his wife is the primary beneficiary. The son is the secondary beneficiary. What if both of them are in a car accident and the son was in the back seat? All died. What if that happens? And I'm not saying nothing crazy. This stuff happens all the time, right? What happens? Because what a lot of people say is all you have to do is put your child as a beneficiary to your accounts, your child as a beneficiary to your IRA, your child as a beneficiary, and when I say accounts, I'm talking about your banking accounts, your child as a beneficiary to your home. That settles everything. Actually, what just happened is all of your beneficiaries, your primary and your contingent, just died simultaneously. And I know what some of y'all would say, well, those 2 girls that you saw earlier, let's see, where they at? Let's go back to, let's call them Stacy and Nancy, right? You say, Stacy and Nancy, they're still alive, right? But what did you just do by just following naming beneficiaries? You just unintentionally disinherited your grandchildren. Now, if you don't care about that, that's cool. But if you want to make sure there's a line of succession that doesn't unintentionally disinherit who you don't want to disinherit, there's a better way. A properly set up trust. Okay? Would that be a concern for anybody? Maybe. For a lot of people. What about scenario 3? Joint tendency. What do they say? You want to avoid probate. Put your daughter and son's name on the title. Put your daughter and son's name on your bank accounts. Just put their name on it, right? And yes, if you do that, you do successfully avoid probate. Does anybody know what you invite when you do that, though? Do you know?
Yeah.
What happens if one of your children is going through a divorce? And they have a very smart attorney that searches to see what their names are on. And what if you have that $800,000 house that you just paid off? That son-in-law that just broke your daughter's heart, he gets half of it. It's marital property. That name that their bank account is on, He gets half of it. It's marital property. Do you think he's gonna be like, you know what? Nah, that wasn't us. That's I love my in-laws, right? Nah, a lot of times when you don't hear of happy marriages ending in divorce, right? They're going for the jugular, right? So yes, joint tenancy does eliminate you having to go through probate, but you also open up the liability. You don't want to be 70 something years old and don't have nowhere to live now. Or you just paid off this house. Now you're walking into the bank. You say, hey, I need to refinance my house. I need 400 grand. The person that's behind the counter so nosy, like, oh, you got to get a new pool? You about to do some remodeling? No, I'm about to pay off my son-in-law.
My neighborhood, we did it different.
Oh, what neighborhood are you from?
County.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. I seen that movie. I seen several of them. Huh?
Would it only be 200?
What's that?
Well, the daughter out there, 800, so 400 hers, so we can get half of that, 200.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I guess 200. Well, let's say it's $1 million house. I'm just joking. But not. But yeah, you're right. Because that would be the marital property. But that 400 would have to be accountable. But what if the judge says, your daughter's already getting it, but that 400 is his part? You see what I'm saying? The judge can easily say, this is your portion. Now, the daughter might be getting the car, might be getting this, that, and the third. But all right, this part, this equity that you have in this home, you get all of that. That's possible. You never know what the judge is going to do on those divorce decrees, right? And once again, the thing is, the big point of it is you're leaving it up to the judge. And they found it because you put your daughter or son's name on it. Because you were trying to avoid probate, but you invited something else that you had no intention, right? Let's see. Scenario number 3. Parent puts child on the house and bank account. And we actually, we talked about that. It's joint tenancy and all that. It works the same way, right? Let's see. Boom. Go down. All right. And like I said, they put it on the account, and that's what happens. Number 3, parents could be forced to refinance. Like I said, unforeseen, because we're still talking about the disadvantages of joint tenancy. Potential loss of cash and assets. Lawsuits. What happens if you have your son or daughter who you put on your account, and they might be great drivers. They keep their hands at 10 and 2. They don't text and drive. But what happens if they hit an oil slick, hit somebody, and a baby dies? They're getting sued for $1 million. What happens when that attorney checks to see what all properties they have in their name? You just open yourself up to that. Yeah, you successfully avoided probate, but now you are a party to this lawsuit. Bankruptcy. Hey, listen, if you're going to go bankrupt, it's probably going to happen when you're younger, right? What happens when your son or daughter whoever you put on this joint tenancy goes through bankruptcy? Your home and your account is now a part of this, what they're putting together, okay? Would any of those scenarios be a concern to any of you? All right. And once again, y'all don't feel bad about this. Everybody's dealing with this. I could run this same PowerPoint for the next 10 years. It'll still be the same, right? All right. So what about an IRA? Anybody here have a 401k, IRA, a TSP, all of that? What happens when you pass away, right? That's your daughter, right? The child receives a lump sum. Now, your child, whoever your beneficiary is for your IRA, your 401k, your thrift savings plans, your 403b, they have the option of getting this periodically or getting a lump sum. What do you think they're going to choose? Oh, they want that money, baby. They want that lump sum. And guess how long it takes on average for somebody to blow through this lump sum? 18 months.
But can't they put it into an IRA too?
They could.
They're smart.
But you said if they're smart. And once again, I'm smart in spots. I just stay around my spots, right? But a lot of people don't know what to do when they get that lump sum of money like that. And when I say that money is gone on average within 18 months, it's not reinvested, it's gone.
It's gone.
A fool in their money.
Gone.
There you go.
And you can't sign it up where they get it in allotment for stuff.
You can't do it with the way they typically, but you can do it if you have your trust set up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you know they have a spending problem.
Absolutely.
Then some other,
They call them spendthrifts.
yeah.
That's the old school word, right? I learned that term when I got my designation. I'm like, spendthrift, all right? I mean, that's a cool word. And then I watch a bunch of shows from the 40s and the 30s, right? And then they use spendthrift like it's an everyday word. He's a spendthrift, see, right? yeah, that's good. Y'all like that? Yeah. I miss my calling, right? Right. But anyway, so basically, let's say you have a child who isn't necessarily that good with money. Anybody in here have a beneficiary, IRA? I'm sorry. All this stuff that was happening earlier got my brain going crazy. Anybody have a trust with their IRA set up? If you have the right trust set up with your IRA, and they call it an IRA beneficiary trust, but you can do it with your 401k, you can do it with your profit sharing, you can do it with your thrift savings plan. You are able to say exactly how they get the money. And if your child is dealing with anything to do with so for example, what we're trained to do, whenever you die, let's say your daughter comes in and we say, hey, so sorry about the passing or whatever. We got this money here. And if it's sitting in a trust, they don't have to take it out. Now you can set out how it goes, but they don't have to take it out. What we're trained to do is say, hey, Cindy, it's all right. So how's the marriage? And then Cindy says, it's good. And they say, hold on. I shut the door. How's the marriage? Do you think anything is going to be happening within the next 6 to 2 years? Because if 6 months to 2 years, because if so, we can keep this money in here and it cannot be considered marital property. That's when she says, oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that, right? And a lot of times, that money sits for a little bit, right? But that's what you're able to do. So a child receives the lump sum. So let's say you have it set up the way people typically have it set up, right? Where the child, you just have them listed as the beneficiary, but you don't have it officially set up as a IRA beneficiary trust. They receive the lump sum, the $200,000. The IRS takes their taxes because remember, if it's transferring to your spouse, it's tax free. But if it's transferring to anybody else, they're going to get taxed on it. All right. So out of this $200,000, the IRS took their $64,000 and it remains for the child $136,000. Right. And once again, if you don't mind giving Uncle Sam this money, cool. But if you set it up the right way, it can avoid that. Right. Now, and then, so this is essentially the same thing, but instead of it being $64,000, it's $74,000. And once again, 200 proceeds, $500 to $1 million over beneficiary lifetime tax free, if you do it the right way, right? Strategy itself pays the taxes you owe. If you do it the right way, if you do it the way that people typically do it, then that's what happens. Okay. Scenario number 4. If she's single, what if there's a lawsuit or bankruptcy? And once again, not only did your $200,000 that you saved go to her and then she had to pay taxes, but if she's going through a bankruptcy and a lawsuit at the time, because remember, if it's not in the trust, you cannot stop that transfer. It's going to happen regardless of what she's going through, he or she. And then there's going to be a party to this. But if it's in the trust, all they have to do is just not take it until all of those proceedings are done. But it has to be set up. Scenario number 4, if married, what if her spouse later files for divorce? Yeah, we talk about divorce a lot, right? When I was getting my credentials, my designations, we talked about, it would always bring the room down, right? So a lot of times my instructors would call it fun with divorce, right? If you're going to talk about it, try to. But what if she's going through that divorce, like we said? It gets taken away. And once again, nobody wants to talk about it, but it happens. All right? Would any of that concern y'all as it relates to your IRAs, your 401ks, your 403bs, your thrift savings plan? Yeah. So does anybody have a insurance broker, a banker, a financial advisor currently? Have they ever mentioned IRA beneficiary trust? One person. And usually when I ask this question, it's maybe out of a room full of people, maybe one person, two person. If y'all have it's not your fault. If you have a banker, if you have an insurance broker, if you have a financial advisor and they never mention this to you, it's going to fall into one or two categories, y'all. Either they don't know how to do it or they didn't care to mention it to you. Whatever they tell you, they either don't know how to do it or they didn't care to mention it. All right? So what do IRA beneficiary trusts do for you? Remember, this isn't just for IRAs, it's for 401ks and all that stuff. It enables you to do three things. You manage the distribution after you're gone. You might have 3 children. One child might get it over 10 years. One child might get it over 2 years. One child might get it over 5 years, right? And if you have the digital platform trust set up like how we got it, you can always go in and change it anytime you want. You can do it from the kitchen table. You can do it from an app over the road, okay? It protects your children against lawsuit. Once again, they don't have to pull this money. They're going to know that they have access to it. But if they're going through a lawsuit or going through divorce, they can just keep it in there. Judge, she has all of this money sitting in the trust. Yeah, we know. Well, it's in the trust. She never took possession of it yet. It's not her money yet. So therefore, it's not considered marital property. All right. Anybody in here been married for 10 years, 10 plus? You say you laugh? Oh, 40? 40 years? 30? Yeah. 44. Congratulations. I was about to say my condolences. Congratulations, right? Is it guaranteed that you will be able to make decisions for your husband or your wife if something happens to them? Healthcare decisions. Is it guaranteed? No, not if you don't have the healthcare power of attorney. Do y'all have a healthcare power of attorney? As of right now, if something were to happen to either one of you, legally you can't make those decisions. What you would have to do is you would have to go to a court to get them to give you permission to make decisions. They're going to check to see exactly what your capability, your competency is. So, for example, here's a story. It was a couple that came in, been married 50 plus years. The wife was 82, the husband was 86. Sat down, right? Now, whenever we go over this, I just do an hour presentation. It's not like a profit. It's not like a what do they call those, timeshares? Listen, I'm not trying to convince nobody. I just want you to have the information, right? And this couple said, we'll come back later. Keep in mind, they're 82 and 86. Why don't you come back when you're 90? All right. All right. They're 82 and they're 86. What happens 3 months later? She calls and says, my husband went out like he does every day. I'll be back. I'm about to go to Walmart. I'll be back in an hour. Hour passes by. 3 hours passes by. Husband doesn't come home. All of a sudden, she gets a call from Walmart saying, hey, can you come get your husband? He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know where his car is. He lost competency right then and there. It doesn't have to be an accident. It doesn't have to be a stroke. You can lose capacity like that, right? So what happens when now she's trying to get the healthcare power of attorney set up? The attorney's not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to go to a court. And what is the judge required to do before they give you a healthcare power of attorney after the fact? They have to check your capacity. Nope. No. Check it out. Look it up.
I knew on my brother I had to have medical coverage, but I didn't know it.
Same for your spouse. Because how do they know y'all still in good standing? Right? Y'all could be estranged.
Try to kill him.
Hey, they don't know. Listen, hey. One thing I learned a long time ago when I watched those shows on Lifetime and those death shows, Like whenever a man kills somebody in those shows, oh my God. Whenever a woman I can understand. What she was dealing with a lot. He really put some burdens on her, right? So they don't know. So in order for you to make sure that you have this, you have to do that. How many of you look after your grandkids? What happens if your children are on vacation in Mexico on a boat and your grandchild falls and gets a cut and you don't have this in place? Good luck.
Yeah.
And you know more about it than most people.
I have them a lot too.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. But when you have a properly set up estate plan, we do all of this for you. We ask you all of these questions. We figure out what needs to be signed. If you're watching your grandkids, you need to have this, right? Because you need to be able to make quick decisions. If you can't get in touch with your kids, all right? Would any of that concern y'all? Probably, seems like, all right?
But by medical thing though, if it's something critical,
Mm-hmm.
if it's life-threatening, you can go, the hospital can go ahead and treat.
The hospital would treat,
Yeah.
but would you be able to say what treatments and if they can and can't?
I'm pretty forceful.
Yeah, you pretty forceful. So you see what you'll do. You'll use your years of experience, like because you know how to get in. Like for example, when I teach continuing education, a lot of it be nurses, and we were talking about hospice, and what they were saying was, I thought as soon as somebody go to hospice, it was almost guaranteed that they were about to die. What I learned was it's 50-50 because what happens when they run out of Medicare, Medicaid?
Well, they do cover them. I mean, it's a long-term coverage, I know, and Medicare, Medicaid changes
Mm-hmm.
frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Rules change frequently.
What does nurse do?
Yeah. See, what I heard, what a lot of nurses do when they know that they have a patient that's running out of money, but they still need round-the-clock treatment, they know how to get that paperwork to look like they about to die in about a year or 2 years. And then that's when they get to go to the hospice. And then they recover in hospice, right? That's a little, but what I'm saying is, huh?
It depends on the diagnosis.
Absolutely. They know how to do it. And once again, I didn't know that until I was teaching. They're like, all right, you ran out of money? All right, we're going to get you in hospice. And the way they get you in hospice, it seemed like you about to die soon. But then you were able to recover without having to, go broke, right? This is just information, not advice. Scenario number 6. Does anybody have any dependents, any children, any grandchildren with special needs? Special needs. Well, here, this right here, Stacy Pearson, she's on my staff. She's a celebrity. Years in the legislative assistant and advocate, lobbied at every level of the government for those who can't speak for themselves, including speaking at the United Nations. She's done that twice. Discovered families falling through the cracks, created a product that covers all dependents. What happens is if you have a special needs child and you leave them a lump sum of money, you just kick them out of all of their benefits. So then the child has to try to figure out how to get the money out of the child's name, and then they got to go through the requalification process all over again. If you have a special needs trust set up,
I have a friend who's special needs. She has cerebral palsy, but she's got it all here.
mm-hmm.
And her health has changed where she needs to be in a facility, and
Mhm.
just went through all that.
Got it. With special needs trust? So you have a lot more knowledge than most people, right? But when you sign up with our program, she typically charges $500 an hour. Once again, it's free through our program. And once again, I know some of you doing them at home. You got free attorney, you got free. How y'all making money? Don't worry about it. We making money, right? We got the business model set up, right? When you help as many people as we help, you're able to work the way we can work, okay? And like I say, I know a lot of people that's dealing with special needs, and that's probably something that you need to know about. What about scenario number 7? If your spouse is in a coma or becomes incapacitated and your spouse has an IRA, what access will you have to the money without proper documents? Do y'all know? Goose egg. If your spouse is in a coma, you have no access to that money. We can't even tell you. If y'all were to call me and you didn't have the proper documents set up, legally, I can't even tell you. You don't have no access to it. I can't tell you how much money is in it. You got to have it set up beforehand. You got to be proactive, not reactive. All right. Scenario number 8. What rights do you have to get information or make decisions on your adult child without the proper documents? Does anybody have any children over the age of 18? Without the proper documents, you can't talk for your children. You can't help them out. And once again, they just like he mentioned, they're just sitting there. All right?
Yep.
But if you do everything in advance, you're good. All right, so proper estate planning can address all these scenarios, okay? We're making, was it 2:30? We're almost done, y'all. So what are the most common questions? A will or a trust? And like I said, a trust in most instances is better than a will. What a will does is guarantees court. It guarantees court. If all you have is a will, you can guarantee court, right? Why? Because all a will does is tell the judge what to do.
Okay, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Single woman.
And y'all, this is going to be the only question. Go ahead.
Single woman,
Mm-hmm.
no living relatives, 2 nephews,
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Okay.
A will wouldn't be sufficient if.
What are you willing to them? A house?
Any investments, house, anything.
Is the house in your name?
Mhm.
Okay. Can a dead person own property?
No.
So how are they going to retitle it?
But if it's in a will,
Yeah. But it's in the will saying that you want this person to have it, right?
right,
Can a dead person own property?
well, the will's not good.
No, because the only way to get it retitled is through through court. Now, if you have a trust set up, the legal mechanisms already switch it over to what you want to do. Not only does it do it automatically, but nobody knows your business.
So you can't take that will and go to the circuit clerk's office and have that title changed to,
You're talking about changing the title while you're alive.
no, I'm talking about I die.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that's left is my, say, one nephew.
Mm-hmm.
I have a will that says I'm going to leave the house to my
Mhm.
nephew. He can't go and just take a copy of the will and take it to the court and have it changed?
He went to the court, but he has to go through court to do it. He has to get the judge to say it's okay to get it retitled.
He can't just go to the clerk's office and
No.
get the title changed?
Because unfortunately, a dead person can't own property. Because what he's going to do is he's going to show a will saying that you gave it to him.
Right.
And they're going to be like, okay, well, so whose name is on the title? Okay, we have to get it retitled. That's the way it is. And the only way to do it, because if you were alive, you could sign all the documents you needed to retitle in his name. You're not alive anymore. So he has to go
So
through court.
before I die, I would need to sign like a quitclaim deed, giving it to him,
No,
not a quitclaim?
well, if you want to do that, but then now you have somebody that owns your property. Now, you might love your nephew. I like him too, you know, whatever, right? But once again, if you have a trust set up, it's already done. You still own it, and whenever you die, it switches over to him. However, if you don't do it, unfortunately, a dead person can't own property, so you can't transfer it. So they have to go through the court in order to do it. They can't just go through regular title because you're not there to sign any documents. Okay.
But what if you have a title that's joint tenancy with right of survivorship?
You can do that, but remember, you open yourself to liability. If you have a joint tenancy with somebody else's name on it, what happens if they get sued? What happens if they go through a divorce?
But it's with, right, even with the right of survivorship?
When you say right of survivorship, meaning that you're staying in your house, and when you die, whoever you have gets the house. Yes, that avoids probate because we already discussed it. But you open yourself to liability. What happens if before you die, this person gets sued? What happens if before you die, this person goes through a divorce? Right? Now it's all included. All right? So, probate court, what is it? And once again, probate it has its place, right? We're going to talk about, it's going to be a screen come up that shows you how probate is necessary in some instances. But you shouldn't just voluntarily do it, all right? Can it be avoided? Absolutely. All right, so what is probate court? So remember we were talking about a will guarantees A will guarantees court. So what is probate court? And this is the legal definition. Granting of probate is the first step in the legal process of administering a deceased person's estate. It resolves the claims while distributing all of the deceased person's property under a will. When you go through probate, can I contest your will? Anybody can contest your will. When you have a trust, who can contest it? Nobody. All right?
You don't mind me asking, I know it's an only question.
Yeah, man, we all good. Hey, we all friends here, right?
One quick question.
Okay.
Just for the room. So, if you leave your house to your kids, nephew, or anything else, isn't it true that if it's not in a trust, then they also have to pay taxes on the increased value of the home, current market when it's passed on to them?
Step up in basis. Correct. Thank you for that. That's my friend, y'all. You wanted to help me get one extra client off of that. Thank you, man. You all right with me? Let's see. Yeah, I gotta watch you, man. I gotta watch you. So why does probate court exist? And like I said, there's a reason for it. All right, so let's give an example. This is a landscaper. Let's say somebody comes up and he says he's a landscaper. He surveys the property and say, hey, I can redo your landscaping for $10,000. And Betty says, perfect. That's a great price. And the landscaper says, all right, just give me half now. Give me $5,000 now, and I'm going to get started. He does his thing. It looks perfect. Betty loves it, right? He said, all right, great. Just give me the balance. He said, well, actually, I'm about to go out of town to see my daughter. Just send me an invoice. So the landscaper sends the invoice, right? A week goes by. Don't hear from him. 2 weeks go by. Don't hear from him. He calls the house. Betty don't pick up the phone. So finally he shows up, and Betty's son answers the door. What does the son say? When she was down in Pittsburgh, she got into an accident and she died, unfortunately. You think Betty's son is going to write a check for $5,000? Some people, stranger things have happened, right? But that's not his responsibility. If this landscaper wants his money, he has to go through probate. So there is a need for people to facilitate probate, right? However, you don't want to have to just voluntarily do it. So what are the problems with probate? One, the fees, right? So here's how it is for Florida. If you're at $40,000 or less, the minimum fee is $1,500. $40,000 to $70,000, the minimum fee is $2,250. $70,000 to $100,000, the minimum fee is $3,000. $100,000 to $1 million is $3,000 plus 3%. For estates above $1 million, attorneys will receive further percentages calculated on the value of the estate. According to Florida law, attorneys can also obtain additional compensation from any extraordinary services, such as involvement in will construction and contest. Because remember, it's all open to contest. All it takes is one person to come up and say, hey, I was supposed to get that coffee mug. That's a contest. And that attorney is going to charge appropriately, right? Determining beneficiaries. Because guess what? You died intestate. And the word dying intestate meaning you died without a will. Now they got to determine the beneficiaries. Because remember, this is just the start off. Handling adversarial litigation against the estate. You know these kids about to be fighting, right? Preparing tax returns. And once again, this is the start off. But if you look at all of the things that attorneys are legally able to charge more money for, you know they're going to charge a lot more. That couch that's only worth $50, all of a sudden it's worth $500, right? A lot of stuff is going to be maximized. And once again, all somebody has to do is to go to CaseNet and see exactly everything. Because what happens is when you don't set up the trust in advance, that's when they inventory everything and they charge for all of that. All right?
Said to do appropriate, it has to be 40. You have to have 40,000 or more. Why does that say 40,000 or less?
Well, 40,000 less, 1,500. Because when you go more, it gives the 20,000.
But I thought probate starts at 40,000.
Yes, ma'am. So you've been a little. Because think about it. If I said 40,000 or more, that's 2,000. So it sounds like you're saying grammatically just put 40,000.
But if you have less, if I have 38,000, there's no probate.
Yes, technically.
Okay.
You're good. What's your name?
That's the value
I'm
of,
trying to block you on the phone there, man.
that's the value of all the things and stuff.
Yeah, huh? The stuff. And once again, they're going to determine what your stuff is worth. And like I said before, I didn't see, but most of you drove here in 40 grand. You're already there. Not you? Oh, she got a bicycle.
I got
You got what?
I got a bike.
No, yeah, but you have a driver. I saw it, man. I saw you got here, man. Listen, I know who to look for. Quarter pointed. I hear you. It sounds good. All right. So where does your dollars go? This is where all of your money goes in probate. Right? Dunkin' Donuts. Wouldn't you rather your money go to your people? I think so. I think so. You're also dealing with delays. All right. Who knows how long it takes for probate to go on in Florida? 60 to 90 days. At least 3 months typically on average. So what's happening while all of these delays? Who's paying the mortgage if you still have a mortgage? Yeah, your most successful child. Who's paying the utilities and all that? Your most successful child. Yeah, your most successful child. Who's paying? And what if you die right at November, and then the property taxes come due? Your most successful child. Is your successful child gonna get their money back? Nope. And your kids ain't gonna talk for 5 Christmases.
I can solve the family problem.
How are you gonna solve it?
Make me the beneficiary.
There you go.
And then they won't fight among each other.
They'll fight you.
Fight me.
Absolutely. See, you look for opportunity. I like it. I like it. All right. But but once again, one of the things what we talked about, when you can name a person or persons as executors of your estate, but you cannot guarantee. I'm sorry. What's your name? You can't guarantee that Rose is going to still be blooming out here, right? Rose, her petals might be gone by the time you die, right? You don't know. All right.
Life insurance is different.
What's that?
As far as, like, if you die and you have life insurance,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to get that money.
They're going to get that money tax-free, right?
Mm-hmm.
But unless you set up a spendthrift trust clause, the creditors are able to get to it. Yeah, your people get the money tax-free, but if you don't set up a spendthrift trust clause, spendthrift trust, say that 5 times fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't set that up, the creditors are able to take all of it. Google it. Google it.
Wow. Burial place that they don't have to bury.
Hmm?
If I leave you X amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
thinking you're going to bury me with it,
Mm-hmm.
they cut you the check.
Yeah, they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Yeah, they don't have to.
I said I'd come back.
Oh yeah, you'll come back and looking for them, right?
Come back.
And I'm just the opposite. I told my granddad, I said, hey, I want to be cremated because I don't want no. Listen, funerals are for the living, right? I told him that. He said, well, you ain't gonna know what's gonna happen. He basically said, hey, we gonna put you in a box. Trust me. All right. And like I said, who's paying the house payment in these 3 months? These 3 to 6 months? Your most successful child. Your most successful child. Your most successful child. If you have it. And once again, this is what starts all of the drama. This is what starts all of the discord, right? Number 3, public record. Your probate estate must be listed in a newspaper 3 times. If you are going through probate, they got to list it in the newspaper. And guess what? Somebody you never even met before can just contest it. Because it's some people, that's all they do is go through probate. And they look to see who don't got no, and then they contest in all these things, right? Yeah.
Do they ever get anything?
Yeah. It's some people who are, criminals are much smarter than regular people. Like you got to be smart to think about, I can't keep up with criminals. Like I listen, even if I wanted to, I can't keep up with how they move, right? They usually are ahead of us when it comes to thinking about innovative ways to take advantage of people. And yes, they get it. If they're the only ones contesting and nobody else has the legal money or anything to fight them, what is the judge going to do? Right? Exposing your probate estate to the public can lead to this. If you have your trust set up, you don't have to do all of this. But if you do not and you go through probate, your estate is going to be paying for these newspaper articles.
That's not cheap either.
Hmm?
And that's not cheap either.
Yeah, that's not cheap. That's because they know. Why you think these newspaper companies still around? They getting
You
these.
get one right in this library
What's that? A newspaper?
that has that listed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the probate.
Oh, that has all that stuff listed.
And listen.
Sure is. I don't know the name of it, but I was sitting on my porch
Mm-hmm.
and my partner had picked one up and he was really using it to put down on wall, under molds.
Mhm.
I'm sitting there going, what is this? And he said, take a look. And I started reading through it and it blew my mind. And it's pages and pages and pages.
A probate. And y'all, and this is an affluent area, y'all. I recommend y'all get the newspaper. A will equals probate, right? So listen, all of this is going into, you got your family property, your boat, your jet ski, your motorcycle, your car, your house. You got your cash, you got your stocks, you got your security. Anybody in here have cryptocurrency? No? Hey man, y'all better get on it, man. There's some crypto millionaires out here, right? What a lot of people don't know about cryptocurrency is in the terms and conditions, it's a limited lease. Unless you have the right documents set up in your trust, as soon as you die, you know, not only do you not have access, your beneficiaries don't have access to it. The law, and don't make me lie to you,
Are
it's
you talking about crypto or you're talking about?
all the digital. So what it is one of the things that we offer once you set up on this platform is you have your screen name and your passwords to your Facebook account, to your PayPal, to your cryptocurrency. We have all of that set up. And then when you die, that's when your family can have access to it. Right? And so cryptocurrency is included, but you just have to have the right language. Hey, did you just get here or are you leaving?
No, I got it run, but
All right.
I left my information.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you.
You can call me.
Thank you. Definite. All right. All right. 10% liquidation costs. You got attorney's fees, you got executive's fees, you got accounting fees. This is all if you're going through probate. 30% of taxes. You got federal estate taxes. You got state tax. Florida, we don't have to deal with state taxes. And you have income taxes. All right? What happens? After all of this is done, your family ends up only getting 60% of your estate. All right? Now, we can't guarantee that we're going to get this completely down to zero, but at least we can get it, get away 90%, a good amount of that down, all right? But we can get rid of all of this, all right, to where your family gets 100%. All right, Elvis Presley, $10 million estate, $7.3 million to probate and others. He had $10 million and 7.3 went to everybody else. Howard Hughes, $2.5 billion estate back then, right? 100 people filed claims, all right? 7 years to settle, proceeds went to 22 cousins, right? He probably ain't even talked to them, right? Michael Jackson, $1 billion estate, 3 kids, 2 ex-wives. Mother went to probate court, 7 years to settle, right? Abraham Lincoln was an attorney. He didn't have no will. He had no estate plan, right? He didn't expect. Martin Luther King, no will, no trust. Kids have been fighting for 45 years. He had a nightmare. Y'all didn't get the connection? Okay. I had a dream. Turned to a nightmare.
I'm sorry, the delayed laugh is just killing me.
And y'all, and we're right here to the end. And just so you know, this is still happening. When Prince died, he had over $300 million. But because he did not have an estate set up, because he didn't have everything set up, his family had to borrow money from George Lopez just to pay for the funeral. So what happens when your money is frozen when you don't have everything set up? That's when you have to borrow money from somebody. And then what happens? Somebody doesn't get paid back. And then they don't talk for 5 Christmases. Right? All right. All right, y'all. And like I was saying, what we also have set up with this program is you can leave videos. You can set it up to where whoever you want can still be getting birthday cards, Christmas cards. You can put all of your family photos. We have people who all they do is scan in photos. So you know how those old photo books, you can have it set up where all of the photos are scanned in. You can have video explaining why you made your decisions, why you decided to give what to who, all that good stuff. And once again, I'd rather them be mad at me dead than each other alive. Yeah, are you? Rose. Because a rose by any other name still smells it sweet. All right, y'all. So y'all, this is everything. Let me just, all right. So just to break it down, this is the grantor settler. You got the assets, you got the car, you got the money, you got your broker statement. You put it all into the trust, right?
It said revocable trust.
Yes.
Tell me the difference between
Revocable and irrevocable.
irrevocable and which is best.
Yeah, well, you want, while you're living, if you still want to make changes, you want a revocable trust.
Okay.
All right? And then when you die, it triggers into an irrevocable trust. If you're
Automatically it triggers?
Yeah. Mhm.
You don't have to say, I want it to trigger into it.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, because if you dead, you're not going to be making no changes.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if I have a revocable trust
Mm-hmm.
and I die,
Mm-hmm.
do they all go to irrevocable when you die?
Yeah, typically, yeah. Typically. Now, if you still had a spouse that's still alive, then that's what I'm saying. So it's going to be irrevocable for the most part,
Okay.
right? Not to say that there might be some people who want to have keep it revocable. I've never seen that, but it might, people might do that. But it's going to be irrevocable. You can also have an irrevocable trust while you're alive if you wanted to remove the strings. Let's say you wanted to get this money out of your estate completely, and you want to say, hey, I have no access or control of this money. All right? That's when you would do an irrevocable trust while you're alive. Mm-hmm.
They made the irrevocable very difficult to use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you don't want to just, most people don't just set up an irrevocable trust. They usually keep it revocable and have a triggering effect when they die. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know whether they have the triggering effect set into it, but unless I'm...
Yeah, it's typically automatic.
Automatically.
Yeah, because I don't, I'm in the business that I'm in, I try to never say 100%,
Right.
but typically automatically. Yeah,
How
also,
long do they have to take something through probate if I wanted to, let's say you died and I wanted to go through probate on it, how long do I have to bring that up?
well, there's no limit to how long a probate can go. Now it can be settled. It's usually a minimum of at least 3 months. But just like we mentioned, you got 45 years. You see what I'm saying?
To 45 years to come in and sue?
And I can answer more questions when you set up an appointment. But yeah, usually when you go through probate, it's contestable. It's contestable.
So you've got 45 years that you can...
I'm not an attorney, so what I'm saying is usually it stays open, and usually it's a bunch of claims being made. But I would love to talk more to you about it. But just, if you can set up, we would have a great conversation, and that way I can bring Sierra in, and she can answer the legal questions. But I want to thank all of y'all so much for spending this time and dealing with the legal, with the technical difficulties. Please, if you want to set up an appointment, just circle it on the paper. But at the very least, you can talk to 2 attorneys every week for the next year, and they're not going to know anything about this platform. I can guarantee you that. It's because they're based out of Florida, right? And they have to follow Florida rules, all right? So if you don't have to buy anything, but if you want to learn something, please circle a day and a time, and I'll call y'all, and we can get this thing going. Huh? Jurisdictional shopping. You saying the attorney have to be licensed?
No, you do.
Oh yeah, I'm licensed in multiple states, y'all. Check me out. All right, y'all. So I want to thank you so much, and please get home safely. And you can put your clipboards at the back of the room. All right.
Are you like to be in there, Nana?
Not yet. Do you need me to be?
I don't know, I've got a big situation that I can explain to you.